Hello friends, Ken Berry here at OB Farms. I'm getting ready for the winter. As you can see, I still don't have any thick grass that I'm going to be able to use as winter forage, but I want to show you something I've learned between last year and this year. I have got about 30 bales of hay in the barn, and I'm going to feed that to the sheep over the winter, along with lots of water and sheep mineral. And so I put these bales up on top of the hill like this so that I can pull off the net and then roll it down the hill, therefore not having to do as much manual labor spreading it. And also I have a Greg Judy hay unroller, but if I've got a hill, I'm going to take advantage of it. Also, I like pushing these huge bales down the hill. It's a lot of fun physically. But I want to show you something. So this is the average pasture. I mean, it's not much to brag about at all. Mixed bunch of grasses, not very nutrient dense, but I set a bale of hay here last year. Look at that. So I pulled off the net, and I would dig down maybe a foot into the hay and pull off a big hunk, and then I would roll it down the hill. See the difference where the hay was last year versus where there was no hay. Very interesting. I'll have to admit that I did not fully believe Greg when he said that hay on pasture will magically wake the pasture up and make it sing again. This entire bottom here was farmed by Nisha's dad with a turning plow and a tiller for 40 or 50 years. Now look at this. Last year I set a bale of hay right here, and then I pushed it down the hill. Now, where there was no hay, see that? Not very sexy at all. Now look at this. You can see the remnants of the hay there. So it's got the soil covered, but look at that clover. Look at this. Look carefully. Do you see that trail, a literal trail of clover where the hay bale unrolled? Now stay with me. Watch this. This is something else. And so then down at the bottom, I would just, the bale's much smaller, so I would just manhandle it and push it across the pasture. See all that clover? Look at that. I didn't plant that. It either came out of the hay or some magic in the hay. I know it's not magic. Soil biology and chemistry. Look at this clover. And then the hay bale wound up, a big pile of it wound up. I'm not going to show you that. So yeah, here's pasture where there was no hay. You can see a tiny bit of clover in there. Not much, but look at this. This is where the hay bale wound up. It's a sea of clover. And it's not just a one-off. Over here is where a big bale of the hay left. Look at that. See that grass? Versus where there's been no hay yet. I have to apologize to Greg Judy for not believing him. So here's another example. No hay was here. Hay was here. Where's another example? Okay, yep, no hay. See that? Weeds. I mean, there's a little grass, nothing, but then look at this. Oh, I'm actually sort of proud of that little 5 square foot patch of pasture. And see the hay went right through here, so you can see that grass. Here's some of the hay left over. It's still too thick for stuff to grow out. And then this is the bulk of the remainder of this small pasture. See that sagebrush? So back over here, the hay was able to not, obviously this is acidic ground, right? See that sagebrush? Low nutrient, acidic soil. You can see all of it. But then where the hay was, not only, it evidently fixed the pH. Look at that grass and clover mix. Like I feel like Will Harris looking at this. I'd be proud of this pasture. But so this year I've already got 2 bales up at the top of the hill that I'm going to roll, and I'm really going to spread them out more this year because I'm now a believer in the magic of putting hay on an old exhausted pasture. Look across there, not very pretty. Not much for the sheep, but over here where that hay unrolled, we're at October, and we've still got this grass growing strong. So I am a believer now. If you want to wake up an old, exhausted pasture, look at this. Look at the grass, and there's clover all mixed in with that. The sheep are going to love that. It's almost November here. So yeah, guys, if somebody says unroll hay on your pasture, you got to feed your cows or your sheep anyway. And so instead of putting the hay in a hay ring or just dropping down a big bale, put it up at the top of the hill. And I'm probably going to wind up with 5 or 6 lined up there. And then I'll just push them down, let the sheep eat as much as they want. And then the rest of it is going to rot, feed the soil bacteria, feed the earthworms, and it's going to turn this into that, and into that. And my sheep are going to love it, and therefore love me. So this gives me hope, seeing this. Actually, I might be able to be a rancher. We'll see.